What's going down, D-Gens? Coming at you after a losing week. We go a total of 4-5, I believe is what it was for week one. Good thing we did good on the props because the sides and the picks were not hitting like we thought they would. But, it is what it is. It's just going to happen. There's probably going to be another, week like that or somewhere, somewhere along the lines. But, actually, you know what? Let me turn this off for it. Everybody comes in here bugging me. So let's just go over it as far as the week 2 plays and also announcement. Starting next week, I'm gonna start posting more regularly, as in probably daily, honestly. And so what it'll be is gonna be smaller videos, like quick hitters, but it's gonna be what the line moves are. So if you know me or if you've been watching the channel for a little bit, you probably know I like to get my plays in like Monday or Tuesday, sometimes even Sunday night. And, I apologize because I can't make the videos right away. So there's a lot of plays that I end up either winning on or I get a better line on. And then by the time I post the video, it's already moved. And it's kind of what happened this week again. So, number one, please follow me on Twitter because I will try to post plays as soon as I can there. But then secondly, obviously the videos moving forward, I'll at least be able to let you know, hey, this is what I got, and or what the lines are moving or where they're moving throughout the week. So let me start off with the props for this week then, because we did relatively well last week, and I'll go over some reasoning with it, and then we'll get into the plays. So as far as the props, if you're looking at your screen, it's kind of a lot. Week 1 is the first couple lines, so just really week 2 and down. So the first touchdown, that's really more for my own good, but that's, if you want to follow along, J.K. Dobbins to get that first touchdown in the Chargers game. It is paying 6-1, but that's not really the one I want to talk about. So the number one play I have for the week is going to be Malik Nabors over 68.5 receiving yards, or actually some places have it at 66.5 receiving yards. So that would be my number one play. If you watched the games last week, Washington just got completely toasted on the back end. I mean, they made Baker Mayfield look like he was fucking Tom Brady back there, just smoking their asses. Every single receiver had a good day, right? So Malik Nabors gonna definitely have a good game. This could probably be his real true breakout game. So give me the over 66.5 yards. Malik Nabors, faster, shiftier, younger, obviously, than guys like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I mean, maybe he's not as physically big and strong, but that's not really how they're going to win. Secondly, you have Brian Daboll, who's come out several times saying, like, this is the plan. We're going to pepper Malik Nabors. We're getting the ball to Nabors. We're going over and over and over to Nabors. That's the whole plan, this whole offense. The way that they focused around Saquon is going to be the way they focused around Malik. And that's just, that's kind of in the cards. So I would not be surprised if he has like a gigantic day, like 10 catches for 100+ yards and a touchdown or two. So give me Malik Nabors over the 66.5 yards. That's number one. Number two, as far as like priority list, would be Daniel Jones over 27.5 rushing yards. So the only thing that Washington did well last week is kind of put some pressure on the quarterback. So Baker was able to get out of a lot of it. Baker ran around a little bit. He actually had some rushing yards last week. He was constantly, kind of getting forced out of the pocket. That front seven for Washington is actually pretty effective. So I would expect the same from Daniel Jones. The Giants' offensive line is not as good as Tampa Bay, or maybe is just kind of equivalent. But Daniel Jones is faster and probably a little bit better of a scrambler than Baker Mayfield, just passing the eye test. Over 27.5 yards. Daniel Jones is also much more willing to try and make big plays. Baker kind of, keeps his head up. He's always looking for the pass. Daniel Jones is more of like a 1-2 reads, and I'm get the hell out of here. So give me Daniel Jones over 27.5 rushing yards. The other ones here, so those are the top two. The other ones, I'm going to go over them, but these are not going to be like official plays. These are really just for me, and I'm going to give you the heads up in case you're in fantasy, in case you want the extra props, or in case you are in something like a Prize Picks or a Bet R or something like that, where they kind of reward you for playing the extra picks. So Josh Jacobs over 67.5 rushing yards. The Colts defensive line was just god-awful. They let Joe Mixon do whatever the hell he wanted. And people say Joe Mixon just got 30 carries, and obviously he did. But that was not why he put up a big day. The Colts defensive line is just they can put pressure on a quarterback, but for whatever reason, they cannot get after the running back. They're like bottom 5 in the league as far as rush defense, and that's not just from 1 week. Like, I'm not going off of just that. This is even my preseason rankings, my preseason defensive rankings. So that was expected. So to see that happen and play out the way that I was expecting, the way that other sharps, quote unquote sharps, were expecting, is just kind of confirmation bias at this point. So give me Josh Jacobs over 67.5 rushing yards. And then lastly, we have the Rams-Cardinals game. That Cardinals defense is absolutely god-awful. They're probably the worst defense in the entire NFL collectively, at rush stopping and stopping the pass. For that reason, give me Cooper Kupp over 87.5 receiving yards, especially without Puka there, especially because the Rams have traditionally just kicked the shit out of the Cardinals on the field via passing. And it should be pretty centralized with Cooper Kupp here being the one real weapon other than Whittington. So give me Cooper Kupp over 87.5 yards. That being said, there is also Kyren Williams over 75.5 yards. And again, just kind of more of a play on the Cardinals not being able to stop anything the Rams do. This is probably going to be a high-scoring game, probably a lot of offense. I wouldn't be surprised if we get several guys into the 90s or even over 100 yards in this game. And then lastly, Najee Harris over 56.5 rushing yards. I know they said the Broncos defense was good, but I did not see that. The Seahawks kind of had a slow first half. Walker did end up blowing up in the second half, ended up having a really good game. And the Broncos defense is not really good. They are another one that was ranked as a bottom 10 run defense in my preseason rankings. And to see Walker go out and do that, even though the offense wasn't really clicking, again, just kind of gives me confirmation that they are what we thought they were. But secondly, the Falcons actually do have a relatively good run stop, top 12 in the NFL, again, according to my rankings and others that are out there, at least top half, if not better, as far as stopping the run. And we saw Najee go for 70 yards on them last week. I would not be surprised if we see another 70-plus yard game from Najee Harris this week. So those are the props, guys, if you're following along with that. There is a teaser I want to go over as well. It's going to be the Rams from 1.5 up to 7.5. The 1.5 I did see at GtBets as well as Bovada, if you're looking at that. And then secondly, it's the Falcons-Eagles down to the Eagles minus 0.5 point. Basically just the Eagles to win. Kirk Cousins did not look good last week, guys. He's still struggling with that Achilles issue. He's really not throwing deep. He's not putting a lot of force on that ankle. So I expect the Eagles to get after that. And the Eagles are going to put up some points. It's not like the Steelers who are just going to kick field goals all day. And the second you force him into a game script that he's not comfortable with, Kirk Cousins is probably going to make mistakes. I mean, hell, he was throwing picks last week. It's probably going to get worse this week. So give me the Eagles minus 0.5 point. Again, going back to that Rams-Cardinals, whether the Rams win or lose this game, I expect them to win, to be completely honest with you. But if they do by some chance lose, there's no way that they're losing past the title. Well, we'll fucking say that, and of course I'm jinxing myself, right? So let's not say that. Let's knock on wood or whatever you want to do. Take that back. But let's just say the Rams keep this game close if they do end up losing and it comes down to like overtime or anything like that. Give me the Rams plus the 7.5. And again, just traditionally, the Rams end up winning this game. And give me Sean McVay as a better coach, really, at least at this point. So that's the teaser. There is one other play here that I have, and I really just want to go over this with you because this is going to be the Madden algorithm. And this is the Ravens game, and I'm going to cut this one pretty quick, guys. But basically, the Ravens, it's the Raiders. Current line is Ravens minus 8.5, depending on where you're looking at. Some places have it at 9, some places have it 9.5. If you go to GtBets and make the Ravens your favorite team, they will lower it down to 8 for you. But you don't need to do that. The Ravens minus 8.5, guys, with the Madden algorithm, it does say that the Ravens should be almost 11-point favorites, and that is accounting for all the injuries that have taken place on both sides of the ball. Not that there were that many. It's 1 week of football, guys, but still, accounting for the injuries, we still get the Ravens minus really 11 is what it should be, and that is with only 1.5 of home field advantage that HF advantage, obviously, right, 1.5. So if we take that off, they are playing in Baltimore, but even if you take that off, it's still going to give us 9.3, so you're still getting some value on that, although I do think the Ravens have at least, the 1 to 1.5 point home field advantage, especially because it is their home opener. So give me the Ravens minus again, 8.5 at this point, but to be honest with you, I would take it up to even 10 if you wanted to. 10 is kind of a lesser key number, but I'd rather be on the right side of that. So give me the Ravens minus 8.5 as the other pick. There are some other picks here, guys. I'm going to go over them really quickly. Really, let me just give you the two that I like the most. So number one is going to be the Chiefs minus 5 or minus 4.5. It is at 4.5 at Bovada versus the Bengals. Bengals always start slow. They had a rough week last week. I don't think they're going to get T. Higgins back. Jamar Chase is still trying to work into form, and they just traditionally start slow. Yes, the Chiefs do typically have a hard time with the Bengals, but the Bengals at the beginning of the year is really the best time to catch them. So give me the Chiefs minus the 5 at home. I don't know what else you want from those guys. You're not asking them to win by 3 touchdowns or anything. Just give me the touchdown. And then lastly, give me the Steelers and Broncos under 37. Like I said earlier, the Broncos really didn't look so good their first week. Defense wasn't great. It wasn't the worst ever, but it wasn't great either. And then the Broncos, Bo Nix is just really struggling to move the ball. Doesn't throw anything deep. Everything is sideways or behind the line of scrimmage. The Steelers, very, very similar. They had, I think, a total of 3 passes that were downfield last week from Justin Fields, and he likes to run the ball more. Arthur Smith is going to try to run the ball again with Najee Harris. It's just going to be one of those run kind of games. Give me them minus or under 37 for the week. And I apologize, I believe that's down to 36.5, so you would have to purchase that extra half point. But that's the final pick for the week, guys. I'll put up another video, like I said, on Monday. If you have any questions, please leave in the comments below. Sorry this is so fast, but I will see y'all soon. I'm going to get the hell out of here. Y'all have a good day.